So often we see videos where people are showing their perspective of their class or whatever, and what we don't often get along with that is what's going on in their heads during the encounter, why they're doing the rotation they're doing. So I wanted to set up a little series where as I'm fighting these bosses, I'm explaining why I'm casting what I'm casting, why I'm doing whatever and moving to wherever at any given instance, so that maybe, you know, folks who are trying to become better disc priest players can maybe get some insight into my style of playing. I need to point that out. There's many different styles of playing. My style tends to be more of an AoE type style, and you know, the decisions I make are reflected in that approach. So with this series, hopefully I can impart some knowledge and help some folks improve their skills playing disc.
You cannot stand against the law.
So in the Conclave of the Chosen, your primary goal is to avoid the 5 lower wrath damage dealing abilities while pumping as much healing through the raid as possible. Now, you're either avoiding or mitigating damage. The first wrath you'll see is Kragwa's Frog Wrath, and he will put circular swirlies on the ground and jump around at people. If he lands on you, he will do a knockback and do pretty good damage. You want to avoid that. Second one is Gonk's Wrath, and he will bring out these raptors, and they will fixate on somebody and will basically eat their lunch if they catch them. Now, it is the DPS's duty to slow, stun, and kill these off. If you get one of these on you, try not to run crazily around, because if you get too near each other, they buff each other. So try to stay in a general area without getting eaten by them. So, the third wrath you'll see is Paku's Wrath. Paku will land at the side of the room and do wing buffet damage. Now, the first one that comes out, I will typically do a barrier and a halo, and then try to, do some individual healing of the most lowest damaged folks. Coming out of that, again, there will be another Gonk's Wrath. One of the things you want to do is stay well away from the tank and the boss that they're tanking. They tend to all have dot type abilities or frontal cone abilities. Stay out from in front of the bosses. Akunda's Wrath, he will come out and will also leap around, and he will put a debuff on you that will cause a bleed, and it will also stun you. You can't avoid it, but you also don't want to be near anybody when it comes out. So when it does come out, move away from the general population and take it like a man. You'll see, Kragwa keeps doing his thing. We will have the Paku's Wrath. Now, the second one that comes out, I will tend to do a Rapture and start shielding the people who are taking the most damage, people that are the lowest health. I'll put shields on them, and then I will also do a halo if I've got it available, and as well as Shadow Covenant. But I will continue after that to do shields as long as Rapture's up. Okay, so here's me getting Akunda on me. Akunda jumps, I get stunned, and I get a short debuff, which is fine. One of the other things you'll get is some of the folks will get mind wiped, and you'll have to dispel them. If you have enough dispellers in your group, you can do them individually. Basically, the mind wipe takes away all of their abilities to do anything. If you have a priest in the group, we've tried to get our folks to go to the middle circle and take a mass dispel. It hasn't worked out very well. So we have enough single dispellers in the group where that's not a problem. So the third Paku, I will typically not have buffs up. If I do, I will do a halo. I will do my Radiance atonement buffing, and you know, we do a lot of personals during the third one. We've also got other healers. We'll have them drop their cooldowns as well during that. So at this point now, we're continuing to avoid damage from the various wraths. You'll see Cragwall jumping around. You'll see the raptors will continue to come out. You'll see Akunda come out. But you attack the boss that the tank has in the center of the room. Do as much damage as you can on it when you have periods of time to do that. So again, we have Paku up. I at this point do have my barrier back up. I drop my barrier, drop a Shadow Covenant. This one's pretty rough. I go ahead and do my Rapture on this one too. Usually if we get past this one, we survive the fight. So I've got all my cooldowns on this one. And you'll see me. I'm also starting to run out of mana too, so this gets tough. So at this point I'm starting to try to do my mana recovery. I haven't started doing this now, but you know I will be doing this throughout. But now I try to really start getting stingy with my mana. So you'll see a lot more smites coming out, a lot of lower cost type heals. You know, I'll put shields on people to get that plus an atonement. But basically, I'm very much rationing my heals. This time around, I will have my Halo up just in time, and I will also do Shadow Covenant, and then personal shields. I did get hit by Akunda there. You know, getting hit by an ability or two, it's not. In some instances, you know, you just don't see everything going on. This fight is very much a cluster going on. There's so much chaos that getting hit by something, nothing to be ashamed about that. I always try to keep up enough mana to do dispels when the Mind Wipe comes out. And at this point, we're just trying to finish out the fight and kill the last boss. So I continue to do whatever raid heals I can, and continue to avoid any of the Wrath abilities. Fortunately, I was able to get them. I did have a Halo up here at the end, and a Shadow Covenant, and I also had my Mind Flayer available, so I was able to do some mana recovery here right at the end when it's most critical to be able to finish off the fight. So there we go. That fight is always a cluster. There's so much chaos, so much damage. It's really, you know, it takes everybody to get through it, and everybody has to be very aware of the various wraths and be able to deal with them. So there you go. That is Conclave of the Chosen, and probably my least favorite fight in this raid, only because it's just so chaotic. I prefer a little bit more of a controlled event. But anyway, there you go. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you next time.